Welcome back to the Old Soul Millennial channel. Did you know that some Stihl chainsaws are equipped with a winter operation mode? Basically what there's a shutter with a hole, and you would flip that shutter around depending on the outside ambient temperature. And that shutter just basically redirects airflow, warm air, either away or towards the carburetor to help prevent the carburetor from icing or to help prevent the saw from overheating depending on the season. Now, some saws are equipped with this winter shutter. For example, my 261 is equipped. However, my 193 is not equipped. I cannot tell you what specific models are equipped, but I can show you how to flip that shutter, generally where it's located, its purpose, and basically why you would want to use it. We'll discuss the details in the owner's manual, so without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to take off the cover of this 261 and I'll show you where that shutter is. Now, to remove the top cover off my 261, I need to press the decompression valve in, ensure the chain brake is forward. Then there's 3/4 turn fasteners. We need to turn counterclockwise, quarter turn. Master control lever needs to be down in the full choke position, then we should be able to lift this cover off the saw. So once you remove the top cover off your saw, it should be very easy to detect whether you have this shutter or not. So on my saw, directly in front of the air filter, there is this orange tab. That is in fact the shutter. In order to remove the shutter, you'll notice towards the right of the air filter there's a spot to make a purchase, and we can sneak a flathead in here and simply pull this shutter out. So as we pull this out, you'll notice that there are some pictures and arrows on the shutter. There's a snowflake pointing towards the left, and then a sunshine with an arrow pointing towards the right. So if I wanted to have this saw in summer operating mode, I would follow the arrow of the sunshine and I would slide this back in like so. If I wanted to switch this to winter operation mode, I would flip this over, follow the arrow on the snowflake, and I would put that hole in the slot first and snap it in. So we just adjusted this shutter to the winter operating mode, and take a look at what has happened. We've introduced this large hole, this slot in between the head of the engine and the carburetor, which is right here. So what that hole allows is it allows heat from the head of the engine to flow towards the carburetor, thus keeping the carburetor warm and preventing it from icing up. If we were to flip this back around to the summer operating mode, you see it closes off that hole in between the head and the carburetor, thus directing more of that heat away from the carburetor and helping to prevent the saw from overheating. Now let's take a look at the owner's manual. The owner's manual will tell us when we should flip that shutter to allow that hole to be open or closed. So, winter operation. The carburetor may ice up when the saw is used at ambient temperatures below 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. To prevent icing, the shutter must be converted to allow warm air from around the engine to heat the carburetor. And then it goes through the procedure of flipping that shutter between winter and summer mode. Now notice, the winter operation setting should only be used in ambient temperatures below 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. Use at higher temperatures may cause the engine to overheat, resulting in permanent damage. Always remember to return the shutter to the configuration that is appropriate for the ambient temperature conditions. So to recap our findings, that shutter should be open or in winter operation mode when the outside ambient air temperature is below 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. Temperatures above, then you would want to flip that shutter to have that plate closed, thus putting the saw in summer operating mode. And again, you should do that when the outside ambient air temperature is above 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. Another thing to consider as well, if you run your saw in really cold temperatures, something you may want to consider purchasing is low temperature bar oil. I know Stihl makes some really good low temperature bar oil. I believe it comes in a blue jug. I stopped buying it because it's pretty expensive. I just use all season at this point because I really don't run this saw when temperatures are below 25 degrees Fahrenheit. But just another thing to consider. Anyway, I would like to thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.